It was supposed to be just a simple drive, a straight shot from Dallas, Texas, to a small town outside Austin. Just under 3.5 hours if traffic stayed light. Jamie and her boyfriend Travis were both in their mid-20s, a couple who had been together for 3 years and often took spontaneous trips just to escape their routine. This road trip wasn't planned in advance. Jamie's aunt had invited them for a last-minute weekend barbecue. The idea of grilled meat, laughter with her cousins, and open country air sounded perfect after a long work week. They packed a small bag, grabbed energy drinks, and set out on Friday evening, aiming to reach by 9 p.m. Sunset had already begun staining the Texas sky a deep orange, but by the time they passed through Bastrop and hit the quieter stretch of Route 71, night had completely taken over. The radio lost its signal. Travis switched to Bluetooth, but even the music didn't stop the weird feeling from settling in Jamie's chest. She kept glancing out the window, past the rows of trees that blurred together like dark ghosts. About 40 minutes from their destination, something strange happened. A man appeared on the side of the road. He was standing still, unnaturally still, wearing what looked like an old army jacket. His arms were at his sides, his face mostly hidden in the shadows. Travis barely slowed down, but Jamie's heart jumped into her throat. "Did you see him?" she asked, turning in her seat to look behind them. "Yeah," Travis replied. "Creepy." They drove on for another 10 minutes in silence, but that feeling, that crawling sensation of being watched, stayed with them. Then they saw the man again. Same jacket, same stance, but this time he was on the opposite side of the road. Jamie's mouth opened, but no words came out. Travis stared ahead, knuckles white on the steering wheel. "That was him again," Jamie finally whispered. "I swear to God, that was the same man." "There's no way he got here faster than us," Travis muttered. "No other cars passed us, no bike, no nothing." Jamie felt sick. A cold sweat formed on the back of her neck. They passed a sign for a gas station. The next rest stop was 15 miles away. Travis didn't say it out loud, but he pushed the car a little faster. Then, it happened again. The third time, the man was standing in the middle of the road. Travis slammed the brakes, tires screeching across the empty highway. Jamie screamed as the car jolted to a stop just in time. But the man wasn't there anymore. Gone. Like smoke, no sound, no footstep, just air. They sat in the car, trembling. Headlights stretched out into nothing. "I'm not going crazy, right?" Jamie asked. "You saw him too?" Travis nodded slowly, still gripping the wheel. He vanished. They didn't want to stop again. They didn't want to risk seeing him a fourth time. So Travis kept driving, this time weaving slightly to avoid the center of the road. Every shadow seemed to move. Every tree looked like it held something behind it. About 20 minutes later, Jamie reached into the glove box and grabbed the flashlight. They hadn't stopped once, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that something, or someone, had followed them. And then the car began to sputter. "No, no, no," Travis whispered. "I just filled the tank yesterday." The gas gauge dropped suddenly, as if something was wrong with the sensors. The engine made a choking noise. They coasted to a stop just off the road. They were in complete darkness. No signal. No lights. Travis got out to check under the hood, while Jamie stayed inside, locked the doors, and held the flashlight tight. She kept scanning the trees, heart pounding like it wanted to escape her chest. Then the flashlight dimmed. She hit it, shook it, but the light kept flickering until it went completely dead. Outside, Travis cursed. "I don't know what's wrong. Everything looks fine, but it won't turn over." And then, footsteps, crunching on gravel. Slow, deliberate. Jamie rolled down the window slightly. "Travis," she called. "I'm here," he replied from the front. "I think it's..." The footsteps weren't his. Jamie turned her head to the side mirror. The man in the army jacket was standing right behind the car. "Travis!" she screamed. He ran to her door just in time to see the man walking, no, gliding, toward the trees. His head never turned, his hands never moved, his feet barely lifted. They jumped back in the car. Jamie turned the key one more time out of desperation. The engine started. Neither of them questioned it. Travis slammed the gas pedal, and the car peeled out of there like hell was chasing them. They didn't stop again until they reached the porch of her aunt's house. Both of them were pale, shaking. Her aunt saw them and ran out. "You two okay?" she asked. "You look like you've seen a ghost." Jamie nearly fainted into her arms. "I think we did." Later that night, they told the story to her aunt and uncle. When Jamie mentioned the man's jacket, old, greenish, with faded patches, her uncle went quiet. "That sounds like Curtis Hennings," he said. "Back in the 80s, he was hit by a truck on Route 71 while walking home from his base. They say sometimes he still walks the road looking for a ride, but no one who picks him up ever makes it to their destination." Jamie didn't sleep that night, neither did Travis, and they never took Route 71 again. They left Denver just after lunch. Josh, Mia, and their friend Kevin had been planning this road trip for over a year, a 2-week tour through the Rocky Mountains, winding their way through Colorado's lesser-known scenic routes. All three were adventure junkies, lovers of the road, and obsessed with finding hidden spots most tourists missed. That Friday, their plan was to take a lesser-used route known only to locals, a road that wasn't even on Google Maps. They heard about it through a backpacker at a Denver cafe. He said it offered the best mountain views in the state and led to a small, abandoned mining town that still had original wooden structures from the 1800s. "You won't regret it," the guy had said. "Just be sure to leave before dark." They laughed about that part. Leave before dark. Sounded like something out of a horror movie. But they weren't worried. They had camping gear, flashlights, a full gas tank, and 3 people with good instincts. The road started off paved, then slowly turned to gravel, then dirt. But the scenery was breathtaking. Golden hills, jagged cliffs, old twisted trees, and peaks that rose like ancient stone giants in the distance. They drove deeper into the wilderness, past the point where phone signals disappeared. Josh was behind the wheel. Mia had the printed directions in her lap, and Kevin was filming everything on his DSLR for their travel vlog. They were laughing, talking about ghost towns, and taking selfies. But then, the road changed. The gravel got thicker, more uneven. Trees became so dense they blocked out the sun in places. Around 4 p.m., they reached a fork in the road. One path led left, wider, clearer, and seemed to go downhill. The other path curved right, narrower, rougher, but seemed to head towards the mountains like the directions said. Kevin wanted to go left. Josh insisted they follow the original route and go right. That decision changed everything. They drove for another 20 minutes, but something felt wrong. The air felt heavier. They passed a rusty, collapsed wooden bridge. Nearby, an old wagon sat broken in half, its wheels sunken into the ground. The vibe shifted from adventure to unease. Then, Mia pointed something out. "Did you notice we haven't seen a single bird in over an hour?" Kevin looked up. She was right. No birds, no wind, no animals, just dead silence. Suddenly, the road ended. Not gradually, it just stopped, like someone had erased it with an invisible hand. Ahead of them, trees blocked the way. Behind them, the path they came through looked different. Kevin jumped out to look around. "We must have missed a turn. I'll walk back and see." He took his camera and walked back down the path while Josh and Mia stayed in the car. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Nothing. Josh and Mia got out and called for him. No answer, not even an echo. They followed the path, but it just kept stretching, like it was longer than it had been before. After 30 minutes, they finally found Kevin's camera, sitting in the middle of the trail, still recording. But Kevin was gone. The footage showed him walking for about 5 minutes, then suddenly spinning around like he heard something. He muttered, "Hello?" Then the camera jerked, turned upside down, and the image froze. They searched and screamed his name until they were hoarse, but Kevin was gone. No footprints, no blood, no signs of a struggle, just gone. Josh wanted to go deeper. Mia said they should leave and call for help the moment they got a signal. That's when they realized the path back had changed. It wasn't the same trail anymore. The trees looked different, closer, tighter, more twisted. The path was thinner. The car was nowhere in sight. They tried retracing their steps. Hours passed. Night fell. Josh took Mia's hand and whispered, "This place is playing tricks on us." They built a fire using whatever branches they could find. That night they slept in shifts, listening to strange noises. Not animals, whispers, breathing. At one point, Mia swore she saw someone watching them from the woods. A figure, tall, pale, unmoving. But every time Josh shined the flashlight, there was nothing. The next morning, the fire had died. Their water was gone. The path had completely vanished. Trees surrounded them like a maze. They walked for hours, desperate. Finally, after what felt like a full day, they found something. A road, but not the one they came from. This road was cracked, old, and covered in moss. An iron sign nearby read, "Welcome to Orange Hollow," the mining town. But there were no buildings, just stone foundations, piles of rubble, and a small, rusted mine shaft gate half buried in earth. They heard a scream from inside the mine. Kevin's voice. "Help!" Josh ran to the gate. It was sealed shut with chains, but the scream echoed again. Mia begged him not to go in, but he grabbed a metal rod and pried the gate open. It led into darkness. They went inside together. The tunnel was damp, cold, and narrow. They walked for what felt like hours, deeper and deeper underground. The light from their flashlight began to dim again. Then they saw something. Writing on the wall, scratched in with fingernails. "No way out." Then more writing. "Turn back." And then they saw Kevin, standing at the end of the tunnel, back to them, silent. "Kevin!" Mia cried, running forward. He didn't turn around. Josh grabbed her arm. "Something's not right." Kevin slowly turned. His eyes were pure black, skin pale, mouth open unnaturally wide. He screamed, a sound so loud, so unnatural, it made their ears bleed. They ran. Mia dropped the flashlight, but they didn't stop. They climbed, scrambled, and ran toward a faint light in the distance. When they finally burst out of the tunnel, they weren't in Orange Hollow anymore. They were lying in a ditch off a highway. A trucker was shaking them awake. "You kids okay?" he asked. "You've been out here all night." Josh and Mia cried. They tried to explain. The trucker looked confused. "There's no Orange Hollow out here," he said. "That place was leveled decades ago. No one goes near those woods anymore." They searched with local police. No sign of Kevin, no mine shaft, no trail, just trees. Endless trees. Josh and Mia never spoke of it again. But sometimes when Mia closes her eyes, she still sees Kevin's face, still waiting. Tyler wasn't the kind of person who got scared easily. He'd been a truck driver for almost a decade, crossing the US coast to coast, from icy Alaskan roads to scorching Arizona highways. He had seen blizzards, wildfires, freak accidents, and people doing some pretty crazy things on the road. But nothing, and he meant nothing, ever haunted him the way that one stop in Nevada did. He still wakes up from the memory. The blinking red sign, the man behind the counter, the gas pump that never worked, and what he saw in the bathroom mirror. It was summer 2019 when it happened. Tyler was heading from Sacramento to Salt Lake City, hauling refrigeration units. He had driven most of the day and planned to stop at a rest area near Ely before nightfall. His route cut through a lonely part of Highway 50, nicknamed the loneliest road in America. And honestly, it lived up to the name. No cell signal, no towns for miles, just desert, flatlands, and the endless fading yellow lines on the road. Around 9 p.m., the sun had dipped below the horizon, leaving behind a sky full of stars and a road swallowed by pitch-black nothingness. That's when his fuel light came on. Tyler cursed. He thought he'd filled up enough back in Fallon, but clearly he miscalculated. There were supposed to be 2 or 3 small gas stations along the way, but the one he passed 30 minutes earlier had been boarded up and closed. He wasn't panicking yet, but he was definitely uneasy. Then, like a miracle, he saw it. A small gas station just ahead on the right. Old, dusty, but lit up like it was open. The neon sign above the door blinked. Last stop gas. Tyler pulled in without hesitation. The gravel crunched beneath his tires, and a bell rang somewhere overhead as he came to a stop. There were 2 pumps. Both looked ancient. One had a handwritten, "Out of order" sign hanging from it. The other, well, he wasn't sure it even had a card reader. He got out, looked around. There was no one in sight, but the store lights were on. As he walked toward the store, he noticed something strange. There were no other vehicles, no tire tracks, no oil stains, nothing. He chalked it up to a quiet night and opened the door. The bell above the door jingled, the kind of old-school metal bell you only heard in 1950s movies. The inside of the station looked like it hadn't changed since 1960. A small shelf of dusty canned goods, faded chip bags, and a cooler humming loudly in the corner. Behind the counter stood a tall, thin man with skin so pale it looked almost gray under the fluorescent lights. He didn't say hello, just stared. Tyler cleared his throat. "Hey, you guys got diesel?" The man nodded slowly. His lips barely moved. "Pump 1. It works." Tyler raised an eyebrow. "Okay, thanks." "Bathroom's in the back," the man added, as if reading Tyler's mind. He hadn't asked, but now that he mentioned it, Tyler did feel the need to relieve himself. He gave a polite nod, went to the back where a crooked sign read "Restroom," and opened the door. The light flickered as he stepped in. The bathroom was freezing, colder than outside. He shivered as he approached the sink, washed his hands, and looked up into the mirror, and froze. The reflection wasn't right. He could see himself, sure, but the room behind him, in the mirror, wasn't the same one he stood in. In the reflection, the walls were crumbling. The floor was covered in dirt and dried leaves. The stall door behind him was swinging open and shut, though it hadn't moved a bit in real life. Then something stepped into view in the reflection. A figure, tall, head tilted, wearing a tattered black hoodie. No face, just a hollow dark blur where features should have been. Tyler spun around. Nothing. He looked back at the mirror. The figure was now closer. He didn't wait. He bolted out of the bathroom, heart pounding, hands shaking. The man behind the counter was still standing there, still staring. "Did you see that?" Tyler gasped. "In your bathroom." The man blinked slowly. Nothing in there but mirrors. Tyler stepped back. "Forget it. I'm leaving." He got in his truck, tried the pump anyway, but no fuel came out. He swore and started the engine. It sputtered but started. He slammed it into gear and peeled out of the lot, gravel flying behind him. He drove until he hit the next hill, and then looked in the rearview mirror. The gas station was gone. Not just closed. Gone. No lights, no sign, no building. Just empty desert. Tyler slammed on the brakes, got out, climbed the hill behind him. Nothing. Just flat land and open road. He turned around, got back in his truck, drove like hell. At the next real gas station, nearly 30 miles away, he told the clerk about the weird station he had stopped at. The clerk blinked at him. "There ain't no gas station out that way," he said. "Not for 80 miles. "I swear," Tyler insisted. "It was called Last Stop Gas. Guy inside. Pale. Creepy. Told me the bathroom was in the back." The clerk's face went pale. He slowly reached under the counter and pulled out a faded, yellowed newspaper article. The headline read, "Driver found dead at abandoned gas station, 1982. The picture showed a rundown station with a broken sign that read, Last stop gas, the same one. The article said the station had closed in 1979 after 3 mysterious disappearances. It had burned down in 1985. Locals avoided the area, said it was cursed. Tyler left the station and never took that highway again. But sometimes, when he drives late at night, he still sees flickers of neon in the distance. And once, just once, he swore he saw a man standing on the side of the road, pale, still, staring.